start with your name and your pronouns, please?
Hi, I'm Joshua Racela. My pronouns are he, him.
Alright, so the first question is, what are the 5 pillars of KP and how will you ensure that the interns support all pillars? What ideas do you have in mind?
So the 5 pillars of KP are social, political, academic, cultural, and empowerment. And the ways that I want to make sure that our internship class is well-rounded in the future is inviting board members from all boards, the pillars of Gen Board, Star, and Core to come into our internship meetings, our weekly meetings, and offer their insight about what they do in KP and make sure that the internship class is well acquainted with all of the things that KP does, because ultimately they're going to be future leaders in KP, and ensuring that they have that foundation where they understand all parts of KP is essential to the org flourishing in the future.
Your next question is more of a scenario type question. So your co-internship has not done their share of the work to prepare for this week's internship meeting. This is the third time this quarter that they gave you an unbalanced workload. How do you handle this situation?
First and foremost, I want to emphasize that communication is key. It's essential in every team and relationship. And I would just communicate with them and check in with them to understand their situation and their capacity. And also letting them know that I might be frustrated with the fact that they might not be pulling in their weight. But I just want to emphasize that sometimes we can't always do what we want. Like, we have all of these goals for the internship space, but sometimes we're not able to do so, and that's totally fine. And I just want to assure to them that I'm there for them and that we're here for each other and we're in the journey together.
So your next question is, with KP moving towards a safer environment, how will you ensure that there are no negative power dynamics, not only within the KP internship space, but the KP space in general? What will you personally do to continue making KP a safe and welcoming space for everyone?
So keeping a safe space, especially as intern court, is my #1 priority. Having open communication with the interns, like open Slack channels and just open communication with them is my #1 priority. I want to give them access to an anonymous feedback form, and just being open to feedback and more than ready to integrate their feedback into our meetings, and just being a person that others can rely on, and showing that you can be there for them is a way to keep a safe space. And also letting them know, letting just interns and other members of KP of the resources that both KP and our campus provide, such as CAPS or mental health services, and just showing that you can be there for them.
So internship for its first 2 years followed a very similar formula. The past few years is where things were a little different. How do you plan on changing up internship if you were given the position?
So one of the first things that I want to do as intern coord is have the interns make their own short-term and long-term SMART goals at the beginning of the year, to give them the chance to create their own path or the goals that they want to accomplish within the internship space, and also have regular reflection sessions at our internship meetings to assess their progress and ask for resources if they need to, because I think goal setting or creating a goal checklist is a great way to provide them some structure as they navigate this new realm and this new space for them. Another idea that I have is I envision an empowerment week where blooming buddy groups can collaborate on creating their own 1 hour long workshops throughout 1 week, and focus on topics that empower others, like mental health workshops, art workshops, or things like that. And I also want to open the floor to board members throughout KP, Gen, Star, and Core, if they're willing to and have the capacity to mentor a blooming buddy group throughout that process, because I feel like event planning and like public speaking are essential skills to be a leader, and these students are going to be leaders in their own right, whether it be in the KP space or not. So having those skills early on are important, and it sets a foundation for them. So I think that's important to add. Yeah.
Alright. The next question is, there have been previous complaints that internship has been both too much work but not enough was taken out of it to justify the experience. How will you ensure that the interns gain meaningful experience and knowledge from the program while also preventing burnout?
Yeah, so for me and my internship experience, I had the most fun doing work when I was doing it with people that I enjoyed hanging out with. And I think emphasizing the social aspect of the internship space is important. I really enjoyed my internship experience and meeting so many friends through it. And I want to encourage that space and feel like you're not alone in doing your work and you're doing with other people is good as well. I want to have more social events outside of the internship space to help the interns feel more interconnected with one another and feel as though that the work that they're doing isn't much of like a task to accomplish, but more of like a thing to do with other people. And I think that's really rewarding within itself to do it with other people.
So we answered all of your required 5 questions. Will you be willing to answer them all?
Yeah.
Okay. So due to the abundant workload that the internship coordinator position can potentially have, tell us how you'll be able to balance other extracurriculars and your position.
Yeah, so I do plan on being involved in seismic design next year. So that is definitely like 2 different orgs that I have to balance. But I think over this year I've learned to manage my time better and understand my boundaries and communicating those boundaries with my co as well. Especially like my experience working with a co this year, and just communicating my capacity and what I can do, because first and foremost I'm a person first, I'm a student first, so I'm prioritizing that and just communicating those boundaries and using Google Calendar as well, color coding and setting time for myself.
Alright, so you answered all the questions. Do you have any questions for any of us?
I don't have any questions.